Hey everyone, my name is Patrice and today I'm going on a little bit of a rant. Instead of my normal videos, I'm gonna be complaining. I don't usually complain and try to keep it to myself, but this pissed me off. So I think Gearbox went a bit too far. By a bit I mean like they made Flak useless. Flak was OP, right? Flak was really strong, but he was strong against singular enemies. He's something like an assassin in an MMO game or something like that, you know, where you have like a very strong backstab that has shitloads of crits and kills the enemy instantly. But everything else is a con. So leveling up is a con because you cannot wipe enemies instantly with a big AoE attack. Which was same for Flak, you cannot wipe enemies with a big AoE attack, he had nothing to do for AoE, so group fighting was useless. He's a glass cannon, so if he gets caught out he immediately gets destroyed. That was Flak, right? He was an assassin pretty much. He was good for one character, he was good for killing one specific monster. He even had everything for boss fighting. Look at his skills. One of his skills gives percentage to damage when you're fighting one enemy. Or another skill gives percentage to specific enemy you're hunting. So if you have specific mod with it, which makes bosses into like entities of like robots and shit, then you can combine those together to kill boss even faster. Entire kit he has is basically killing bosses and killing one enemy at a time. So if there would be like a really strong badass he would be good at to go into his ability and wipe him out. Or if there would be like how do you call those big guys that could jump down in a Venus, for example, right, with those balls on the back of them, by Malia one I'm talking about. If you need to wipe them out, you go into your ability, quickly wipe him out and carry on fighting the little ones. So he used to be great for bosses and pretty shit for group fighting. If you go on Mayhem 3 to Slaughterhouse, you won't even pass round 1, and if you do, you barely will survive round 2. The badasses that will throw rocket launchers at you will absolutely destroy you with about, I don't know, couple of seconds and all of your health's gonna be gone. Your pet dies instantly. And look, I've tried everything. I've tried blue build, I tried tank build, I tried only pet build, every build possible, rack attack build, whatever you want, you name it. I tried everything and it absolutely sucks. His tank build gives you nothing to like pay for. For example, with the tank build I went to Slaughterhouse, instead of dying on round 1 I was dying on round 2. Big fucking deal, it's the same shit. And when I actually made his pet like super strong, with all of the buffs for my pet, he barely dealt any damage at all to Slaughterhouse Mayhem 3 enemies. The first round and he would already be useless. On the first monster that jumps out of the car wagon and has no shields, just health, he would deal, I don't know, maybe 1/20th of his health from one attack. That's nothing, that's useless. And then eventually he dies anyway, and again, instead of round 1 he dies on round 2 without dealing any damage, and you are left alone this time without any skills because you used everything for the pet skills. Rack attack build, right? There's nothing to talk about here. The animations are way too slow and it sucks balls, man. It's useless, like it doesn't deal enough damage. The racks, they deal as much damage as normal gun does, so what's the point of putting all of your builds and skills into rack attack when the gun's gonna do exactly same damage? The only build you can go with Flak is really the Stalker build, really the crit build. But instead of being a glass cannon now he's just glass. He's not a cannon anymore. He doesn't have any difference in dealing damage to bosses. For example, I tried exactly same weapons and better builds obviously on, for example, Zane, which used to be the weakest one. And apparently Zane pretty much kills the boss in exactly the same time as Flak kills the boss. If you go for like Lucian Skull, right, or Rowan Skull, or any like normal weapon that, you know, used to be strong, now it's not that strong. Pretty much the same damage you can put out with Zane whilst being 10 times tankier than Flak whilst he meant to be a glass cannon. He meant to do more damage, but he doesn't. Now he's pretty much shit. And then he was already pretty weak. Already after the first nerf, Amara and Mose could have outdamaged him by a lot. Like Amara and Mose were a lot stronger than him already at that point. I didn't even think they're gonna nerf him more. I was like, well, you know, that's enough. I'm leveling up Mose now anyway. But no, Gearbox was like, not enough, man. This is not it. We need to make him useless. Why not make him useless, right? So what they do, they completely get rid of his skill, basically, the one that brings back bullets. the one that actually made shotguns good for him. You know, shotguns used to be the ultimate go-to with Flak when he had this ability. But now, since they removed this ability, all of the shotguns that you ever used on Flak got nothing to it anymore. They ain't gonna do anywhere as much damage. So pretty much already I put them out of my box because I was like, yo, they literally no use of shotguns anymore. What I'm using right now is Maliwan weapons. So technically, they could have just nerfed it for shotguns but still left it the same for bullets, so you know, it would maybe still work the same for machine guns and stuff, but for like pallet type of weapons like shotguns, the ability would be a bit weaker. But even then, that would already make it useless because the only point was of having it is for using shotguns. So they nerfed the build for us, right? And what do they give us instead? I would expect them to nerf us to give us something else stronger, like they maybe try to give us racket attack stronger or a pet stronger. Well, currently nothing happened. Those two builds are still completely useless, and you never want to have pet at all. I'd rather completely get rid of him and just get the buffs, that's it. He's annoying and he's always gets in your way and in front of your items and shit like that. I feel like, you know, because everybody was playing Flak, and there's few reasons why everyone wanted to play Flak. First, he's a new type of character. He's a robot that has pets, you know? Like, come on, that's pretty dope. Compared to Siren, which happened in Borderlands 2, they had Siren, in Borderlands 1 they had Siren. Like, everybody will might be shift a little bit more to, you know, Flak, because he's a bit more unique. Another thing is that anybody who loves anime and knows Anime Crime Division knows that ProZD voiced him, and they also wanted to, you know, play him because of that, which makes sense. Anybody who ever watched ProZD pretty much gonna play this character just because of his voice, and it's pretty dope that he's voicing him. I love ProZD voice, it sounds sick. Those were the reasons that he was mainly played, not because he was OP, because no, he wasn't OP. Amara was just as OP as he was, and Mose is just as OP as he was. They could have dealt a lot of damage whilst being 50 times tankier, whilst being invincible. Flak cannot be invincible. He can get destroyed in about 4 hits from Anointed. Whatever you do, it will always be a couple of hits and Anointed kills you. So you have to be very careful and run in, deal damage, run out and hide until your skill goes on cooldown or something like that. Before the nerf, before the second nerf, I had a lot of problems doing Slaughterhouse. Like, I could not pass round 2. But after this nerf, I cannot even pass round 1 because the only weapon that I used to use, which is shotgun and inside of fadeaway, it's useless now, so I cannot do that combo anymore. And everything else is just not as strong. Gearbox, you made him for boss fighting. The entire build is based around boss fighting. Just read his abilities, read his mods. It's for boss fighting, you know, it's for fighting one enemy at a time. He was made for this. And that was his pro. Whilst he has shitloads of cons on other levels, he had his pros on fighting bosses and grave ward. But you took that away from him. So now he only has cons, he doesn't have any pros at all. You not wanna play Flak right now. Go level up Mose, level up Amara, level up Zane even. Fucking anyone. Literally play anyone but Flak because he's shit times weaker than any of them right now. Alright, I might have been a bit too aggressive here, or you know, maybe I went a bit over the board and you don't think he's as useless. Well, I'm sorry, but to my vision, to my perspective, he's pretty useless and I actually don't want to play him. I'm playing Apex now and you know whatnot, like playing fucking leveling up Mose and shit instead of playing Flak, which I used to love. It's just sad that they kind of like made him so much weaker now. Like, why? This game is all about like mayhem and destruction, you know? Why do you just ruin it, man? I don't know. That's just my opinion. This entire video is just my opinion and me crying about this shit. So technically it has no value whatsoever, but I just don't like it. I don't like what they did to Flak right now. And I feel like I start leveling up Mose and they will do exactly the same thing to Mose, and then by the time I'm level 50, Mose will be useless or something like that again. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, for me cry about this shit, and I see you in the next episode. Bye.